Welcome you students. In this video lecture, we shall know about forces in space. In the previous chapter, we discussed about the coplanar concurrent force. Am I right? That means all the forces acting in a single plane. Especially, it's a two-dimension. All the forces will be a two-dimension. Okay. So there, we used to calculate or identify the resultant force or directions of resultant or unknown forces by using resolution of force method or the laws of mechanics. Okay. So here forces in space, in the sense here we are going to deal with the force called non-coplanar concurrent force. That means forces acting in more than one plane. Okay, it's a three-dimension forces. Three-dimension, all the three dimensions forces will be. That's why they are calling forces in space. Okay, so here in order to get the resultant force, okay, we going to have the approach called vector approach. Now, to find out the resultant or unknown forces, we are going with the vector approach since it is a three-dimension. Okay, so vector in the sense we know it's a quantity which describe both the magnitude and direction. Such kind of things, quantities, we call it as what? The vector, vector product. Okay. So, in the lower classes we have learned, that means vector operations, namely vector addition, vector subtraction, third one vector dot product, or the last one vector cross product. So how to do or work with the vector addition or vector subtraction and dot product and cross product is a familiar one. Okay. So here the dot product, in the sense we call it as a scalar product, other name is a scalar product, and here it's a vector product. Okay. So especially in the cross product there will be a matrix format. Okay. And when we are having the moment, then we going with the cross product. Okay, fine. Let's move to the force system arrangements and try to know about the force vectors, how we going to frame it. So for that, just have a space, that means with x, y, z axis, three dimensions. So here I am going to consider a force which is acting from the O point, something like this. So which is F, with the magnitude F. So if I want to give the force vector, okay, force vector, in the sense I can define it as F is equal to F vector is equal to F cos magnitude of F vector into cos theta x plus magnitude of force vector into cos theta y plus magnitude of force into cos theta z. Okay, you might have seen these things when you are having your resolution of force method. I can remind you, when you are having the inclined force, something like this, we used to identify the components. I used to say when it is inclined, there will be two forces or two kind of components can be possible, partially vertical, partially horizontal. At that time, we'll be taking one of the force here and one of the force here. And we used to designate the force as F cos theta. Am I right? For the horizontal component. And here we used to represent F sin theta. Similar manner, here we have designated the force in 3 dimensions. That's the difference in vector format. Okay. So that when you are including the vector format, actually it can be written as F vector is equal to F cos theta x I, okay, I for x component plus F cos theta y j component, it says it's directed towards y, and F cos theta z into k, it says it's directed towards z components. Okay, separately we have taken in the force vector format. Okay, that's all. So one thing I want to say, this F cos theta x can be taken as fx, so it comes like fxi plus fyj plus fzk. Okay, so in this format we can write, this is because of here the force is inclined something like this. Am I right? Inclined something like this. If I show, in order to get this fx, they used to form a triangle, right angle triangle, something like this. I can say this is the force with respect to x with the inclination theta x. Am I right? Theta x. And we are following the first, we are framing for the x component. So the x component force will be directed here just like fx. So if you apply cos theta or cos theta x here, what is the formula? Cos theta says adjacent side by hypotenuse, right? For this theta, adjacent side is here, so fx divided by hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is this, which is with the force F. So this is how the formula will be developed. So that I can say fx is equal to F cos theta x. So that's why I have replaced F cos theta x by fx. Similarly, you will get F cos theta y is equal to Fy, F cos theta z is equal to Fz. Okay, right. Well, let it be. So here when you are representing from the x-axis, we can denote it as theta x. If you are defining the force from the y-axis, we can define it as theta y. When you are defining from z-axis, you can define it with theta z. Okay. So this is how we need to frame the force vector. So next, magnitude of force vector. Magnitude of force vector. This is nothing but easy. We have studied in the mathematical subject, right? When you are going to find the magnitude, we need to take the determinant of the same force. So what comes? Root of f x square plus f y square plus f z square, right? So this is the magnitude of force vector. Okay, and the next one more thing, here I have formulated the formula when the force is represented by theta, okay. So if suppose I am going to show a force here, the same force, but I am going to take more than one, x, y, z more than one, and which is acting between 2 points. Okay, this is how acting between 2 points. This is O and this is A and this is B. So I am going to consider here the first force here and the second force here, F. Or else I can say the first force which is going from O to A, and the second force which is moving from O to B, between 2 points, O to B. So FOA and FOB. So when you are having such things, what we have to do is, in this we need to find the resultant force. Here 2 forces are there, so we need to identify the resultant force. So in order to find the resultant, what you have to do is, you have to do algebraic sum of all the forces in this system. Algebraic sum of all the forces in this system. That means here we have force FOA and FOB. Just do the addition, you will get the resultant force. If suppose in the resultant, if you want to find the force vector of FOA, force vector of FOA, when it is between 2 points, we need coordinates. So I can say this O is the originating point, it's a starting point. So I just going to give the coordinates of O as x1, y1, z1, something like this. And I going to take the A point in a space which is with x2, y2, z2. Just an assumption. Just it is with the space, particular position, something like this. And for the B, I going to take the coordinate. It is with x3, y3, z3. Okay, let it be. It is with a space, something, this arrangement. Okay. So F vector is nothing but, when your force is between 2 points, we need to take the formula magnitude of same FOA vector, product of the unit vector OA. It's a product of magnitude of force vector into unit vector. What do you mean by unit vector? Unit vector in the sense, it's nothing but whose magnitude is equal to 1. Always the magnitude of unit vector will be a positive 1. Okay. So here the formula for the unit vector say OA divided by modulus of OA or determinant of OA. So this OA is nothing but position vector, and this modulus of OA is nothing but, or determinant of OA is nothing but magnitude of position vector. Okay. So here we can simplify this OA in the sense position vector can be calculated by, if we have first considered O to A, am I right? O to A. So that means we need to subtract from the final point to the initial one. So here the force is moving, FOA force is moving from O to A. So here we need to subtract from A to O. So the formula will become, so this is O and this is A, am I right? The formula will become A minus O. So that means I can directly write as x2 minus x1 into I, x component, okay, and y2 plus y2 minus y1, it's a j component, okay, and Z2 minus Z1, it's a K, which is Z component. This is all. And divided by determinant of this OA. Am I right? So determinant, we know we need to take square root of x2 minus x1, the same formula, square, plus it's a magnitude, so we need to neglect this I, y2 minus y1 the whole square, plus z2 minus z1 the whole square. So this is the formula for lambda OA. Okay, this is the formula. So now the similar way, if you want to find the OA, if you multiply with FOA into this lambda OA, you will get the value for what the force vector of OA. Similar way, you need to find out the answer for FOB. You can get the resultant force. Okay, let us know about the direction of resultant force here. Direction of resultant force. Direction of resultant can be taken by the formula theta x. If you want to specify the theta x, it is nothing but theta x is equal to cos inverse of f summation of f x divided by resultant r. If you are going to find out theta y with respect to y axis, the resultant will be summation of f z divided by r. Sorry, f y divided by r. If you are going to find out the theta z, then cos inverse of summation of f z divided by r. Okay, this is how we need to form the resultant force direction. Then the magnitude of resultant. Resultant force, we need to add all the forces. When you are calculating the directions, we need to go with this formula. And magnitude of resultant, it is easy. So we know when you are calculating the magnitude, we need to take the determinant of the resultant. It is nothing but algebraic sum of all the forces in the x direction square plus algebraic sum of all the forces in the y direction square plus sum of all the forces in the z direction. Okay, or else in shortly we can note this as or x square plus or y square plus or z square. Okay, this is how we can note it. So this is to identify the magnitude. So when you want to check whether the derived answer is right or wrong, we have a formula. We have a formula for it, which can be said as direction cosine. Okay, as per the direction cosines, the trigonometry format is there, which is said as cos square theta x plus cos square theta y plus cos square theta az is equal to 1. Okay, it is to check whether the derived answer for the resultant force or for the force which is right or wrong. That means if you substitute all the theta value, theta x, theta y, theta z in this equation, if you get 1 is equal to 1, then your answer is right. If it is not equal to 1, then your answer will be wrong. This is right, then answer will be wrong. So here we have two purposes there for this equation. That means in order to identify the unknown angles, if you are having two angles, something like theta x and theta y. By using this format, we can calculate easily the other one, theta z. And one more use or one more application is in order to check whether the obtained answer is right or wrong. Okay. So this is the things we're going to follow in the vector equations. Okay. When you are having more than one forces, we need resultant force. So resultant is the addition of all the forces. So at that time, independent force vector we need to find. So force vector is equal to nothing but magnitude of force into unit vector. Unit vector is nothing but whose magnitude is equal to 1. And by this format we need to calculate each and every forces independently. And by going with the direction formula, we can specify the theta x, theta y and theta z for the resultant. Okay. And magnitude of resultant can be calculated by this formula, root of summation of x square plus summation of fy square plus summation of fz square. Okay. So I hope you understood how we want to derive the unknown forces and number of forces acting in the problem and the resultant force and direction of it. Okay. Thank you so much.